maybe his old radio cracked out. Just be right. Oh, beep, beep.
Alright, GE, we bring good things to life. Let's see if it does.
Yes, the big old GE is working. Yeah, I'm hearing a little beep in there. That sounds like a local swap type of beep.
Yeah, it sounds a little bit stockish too, but it's got good audio. Doesn't sound bad considering it is a stock mic.
Yeah, it sounds good. It doesn't sound as good as the Aries did, but it does sound good. And that is what matters.
And that is all I have to say about that.
Oh, yeah.
I hope Radio Man isn't getting distracted with cleaning up his bench area there.
He was on right before he came out here, right as I was getting ready. I turned this on, got to receive, I heard him. He said something about, yeah, let me clean this up or whatever before he started the season. And I don't know. Maybe he slipped and tripped and fell on some pulled board.
Nobody should be eating that much barbecue back to back.
Oh, he's got some roughage in him for this week. He'll be good.
Yeah, pretty hard to plug up an outhouse.
Oh, man, now that would be something to write home about. I mean, Striper did it, but...
Oh, man. Can you imagine? I think that was like an on-call situation, too. I mean, come on.
Yeah, I would have, I mean, I get it. Shit happens. Yeah, I turned the light off, and I don't know if it made it any better.
There's a light to the right there that's kind of pointed right at the phone or camera.
Okay!
Radio Man!
How you copy?
I copy, yeah. I copy. Oh, yeah, it's way down there. Okay, no worries.
Oh, I wanted to make sure I use proper enunciation. I'm on the Midland tonight. The Midland.
Oh, the Midland. Yeah, okay. Yeah, sounding good.
All right, 10-4. I thought I had a technical difficulty, but it was more of a guy operating the computer difficulty.
Oh man, Houston, we have a problem.
Streaming and flowing, and so you got all the valves are open.
Yes, I took my Flomax.
Excellent, excellent. Well, we've got a Midland to GE communication going here in the pipeline, so all is good in the world.
Heck yeah.
Yes, I've blasted out the stream to the Maine CB group, and then the other one that is the other, I forget what it's called. I've put out the links, and we're worldwide.
Worldwide on the $20 radios.
Oh, is that Regal I heard in there?
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's Regal. Like Cobra said, these are being seen by tens of people.
Oh, really good? Tens of tens.
I just noticed that your scroll at the bottom is perfectly synced with the seconds on your clock on the radio. How did you do that? I can't look away now.
He sat there and timed it up.
I don't know what I've done. It was all by accident. The clock's not right though. It says 7:55.
I don't even care. It's in perfect sync with your scroll. I can't. It's like ASMR. I can't look away.
Are you ready?
Fine adventure radio time. 1, 2. Got a set for beat off with him.
Regal, you're practically internet famous.
I am.
Oh yeah, I get people that are like, who's that guy who brings up the foul talk on there?
Been that way for years. That's my reputation, so why give up now?
Oh yeah, it's just, you're being exposed to a wider audience.
That's right. Now you're famous to tens of people.
Not just leaving your robe open being exposed either.
Regal, did you grow up in Brunswick?
No, I was actually raised in Lisbon.
Oh, okay.
I was turned loose in the streets of Wilson and Auburn for 20 years or better, and yeah. And we got out of Dodge.
So you lived in Lisbon, but they let you roam in Lewiston, Auburn, huh?
Spent a good part of my childhood in Lisbon, yeah. Different sectors of it, Lisbon Falls, Lisbon Center, Lisbon. And then when I was probably mid-teens, my mother moved up into Wilson and Auburn area, so we bounced around there a little bit. And I moved back to Lisbon with my father, late teens. Yeah, took off from there. Yeah, there's a few of us in here from Lisbon. Oh, yeah.
We just can't seem to break away.
Only 5 minutes away.
Well, thank you for.
Yeah, but I'm part of the semi-older crowd that was in there back in the day. You know what I mean?
The old fire crew. The old fire crew, huh? It happens.
The people that used to go up toll roads and like they'd keg the beer and have bonfires and party out in the woods. Yeah, they'd go downtown and shoot up the streets, people's cars, and do bad drugs.
Yeah, we did nothing but good drugs back then.
Yeah, if you got really hammered, you just dug out the shotgun and started blasting the street sign until you get to something to do. They hear the ping.
Man, I know we said this before, but we want to find a pit somewhere and have a pit party. I haven't had a pit party in years, but I feel like I haven't been to one since I was a kid. You know, somebody's land, just, you know, maybe pretend it's a pit, just an old school pit party.
It used to be a lot of fun back in the day. We thought we had several spots we used to party at. We'd bounce around from one to the other and the other, and yeah. Those cops do roll in once in a while, but that comes along with the excitement. Run like hell.
Well, back then it was, well, we know who you guys are, so you're not causing trouble. Have a good night, stay safe. You know, they're good about that stuff.
You'd be hard pressed to find a pit today that you could even get the keg tapped before they'd be there.
I was talking to one of the bartenders at Grady's. No, not Grady's, at Gippers. She's young. I think she's 21, 22. Maybe she's only 20. I don't know. But she's from Barfield. And supposedly she's been to some pit parties, and they still have them occasionally. So that's really interesting. I'm like, oh, I kind of want to go. She said, oh, you should stop in. But I'm like, I don't know, some 42-year-old man fucking going to a pit party with a bunch of teenagers that are barely legal to drink. I'm like, I don't know if I'm that creepy.
Yeah, you don't remember when those guys showed up to the pit party when you were a kid?
Yeah, that's not a wise call. I think I'd stay away from that one. Yeah, exactly. That's why we need like an adult pit party where we're not the creepy old people. Well, we are, but we're all together. Where are you at, Hodge? I'm coming through Thompson here, fucking from Wisconsin. Oh, yeah. Were you working out there, man? This is like the second time I've heard you come from that direction this week. Job there, siding job. Yeah, so it's the second time I've heard you come from there.
My fault. I got him stuck on it.
He's not even on the bike. I'm just a little rain.
Hutch, you get those guys straightened out in Wiscasset with the dipoles trying to call us? Uh-oh. My radio's not reaching out.
That radio man way in there, what you doing?
I'm on my Midland. I said, you get those guys straightened out in Wiscasset?
I still didn't catch that. You're barely making over the static. You at least haven't going through your amp.
Going through the little two-pillar.
Well, you got them guys straightened out in Wisconsin with the dipole is what he was asking.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you can hear him? I can barely hear him. He's barely making over the static.
Well, if Regal can hear me, that's got to be a problem on your end.
That's a you problem, he says. I'm surprised you can hear me, Ash. I guess I'm not stuck, but definitely not inside. Oh, you're fucking loud as fuck there. Fucking blast me. You're like 80 times louder than Radio Man. 10-4 on my old radio, working better than his.
Yeah, you got cheater audio. I have to adjust my audio when you talk, because everyone else is normal.
Oh, I turned it up because Hawkeye told me it sounded like a stock radio.
No, you're on the verge of Iron Man audio.
I can hear him now. So I'm like Hutch audio loud? Oh, that's awesome.
I am Iron Man!
You're louder than everybody out here. Alright, I'll turn the mic down a little, see if that'll help. Yeah, that helps. Well, at least want to be understandable. This is my original first radio that I owned.
Your audio cut out though on one of those transmissions. You're like, "This is my original first radio," and then dead air.
Yeah, I think the mic has a, well, the battery's 25 years old too, but the mic has a bad wire in it. Like I said, I haven't turned this radio, I haven't used this radio since, I don't know, 96, 97?
There's old Sultonics and stuff like that.
So, Cold Black Shadow. I was given this in 1993 on my birthday. I'm only 92. I was 13, whatever. My aunt and uncle, who still talk about the radio, well, my uncle still has one, he's in Lewiston, but gave it to me for my 13th birthday after I blew up this little mobile thing that I was trying to rig up.
What's a Cold Shadow? Yeah. Only 8 million of those left around.
No, I like it. You know, it's the, I know Bear has one, but he's got the AM only version, and his is brand new out of a box, but yeah, it's an old, you know, it's nothing special, but it's got offers in it, no lowers. It's got sideband in it. I think the sideband worked. I don't know, it's been years, but yeah, like I said, I mean, it hasn't been plugged in since probably 96, 97. And I bet the mic is, the battery in it's just as old.
Oh, you gotta recap that.
Oh, yeah, I gotta recap it. Hang on, I'll be back. Okay, I'm done. You should have seen it. It's sitting over by my dryer duct. It is covered. I realistically, I should have probably blown out the inside of it. Covered with lint and nastiness. Oh, man, it's brutal. But I said, screw it. I'm plugging it in and see what happens.
Yeah, I've never known you to follow caution when hooking electrical objects up.
Yeah, I mean, if smoke came out of it, well, then I just will put it aside and run something else, that's all.
How do you think he keeps his hands standing straight up?
Oh, yeah.
Were you running some heat, too?
Yeah, I got an old, it's just on my lowest antenna, actually, but I got I don't know what it is, an Elkin base tube amp. It might be 6 tube, I don't know. It's this old gray box, and it's pretty basic, but it seems to work. I mean, it's about 100 watt deck G.
Well, that's what it was, Maine CB radio group. I put it over there, and I told people, well, if you got a radio, listen on channel 12.
Heck yeah. Tune in tomorrow. Let's play.
Tune to channel 12 and break the knob off.
Yeah, come on down. We got Royces, we got Colts, we got GEs, we got it going.
Yeah, I think I'm going to have to pick up another GE. I'm hooked.
He's going to get rid of the Harry so he can trade it off for a GE.
Who was that just keyed up?
That was Hawkeye.
Holy smokes, he must be right around me.
How's it going there, Hodge?
Boy, you're loud there, so I must be right in your neighborhood.
Yeah, you're cranking.
Oh, that's right. I remember you telling me where you live. You're out behind, kind of like the Big Apple.
Roger.
Roger. I'm just going by the mobile up here. Extra Mart.
You headed up Route 9?
I'm going right straight up through Lisbon. Right up Lisbon Street.
Roger.
So before this rain, you put a lot of miles on the bike yet?
Nope. I rode one day and put 200 miles on it. That's about it.
Yeah, I saw you 2 weeks ago on Main Street. I left you in traffic. I was driving the wife's SUV. I was coming back from the hospital. We were right on Main Street in Lewis, and I'm like, hey, I know that guy.
I've been punching it around town here and there, go to the store or something like that there, but I haven't put no real serious miles. Rode down to, Hops
swell and took a ride out through Buckfield, out that area, out through fucking Streakhead Mountain. Put about 200 miles on it one day. Nice. I always like hitting around Streakhead. It's like a close ride. It only takes a couple hours, but it's a fun, close ride. Yep, that was the last ride. We went up through, fucking came up through and went out that way, yep. I'll stop in at the bucket and get some nachos and a drink, and oh yeah. Yeah, pretty much the only time we were stopping us was the Vernon one. Roger.
Where the hell's Cobra?
Yeah, what the hell, Cobra? Yeah, I sent my fucking title away from my Mustang. I got it back in, I don't know, 10 days. Yeah, is it weird how that works? Same thing for the BMW. The title for that came in the mail fucking 10 days. Might have even been a little less. Yeah, it's only been, what, a year and a half on the other one, so if you just wait longer. I might be going, I think I'm going to work where he works, so I'll be getting it. Oh, really? Are you just getting sick of where you were? Yeah, I'm looking to fucking change it up, go a little different direction, make more money, be in town. I don't have to put so much wear and tear on my vehicles, yeah. Yeah, and not as much wear and tear on your body. Yeah, that too, but you know how I am. I'm just fucking constant fucking active there, so I'm going to have to learn to slow down a little bit. Yes, sir. Before what happens, I don't want it to happen to me like what happened to you. Yeah, exactly. Sometimes that's where I'm at. Learning to slow down and to not stress about stuff. But I'm surprised I haven't had one yet. I got high blood pressure and all. I just down the Mountain Dew, so yeah, I'm just waiting for mine. Yeah, I thought I would have had a heart attack well before I had a stroke, but here we are. Yeah, my dad had a heart attack at 60, so probably what happened to me. Oh, we got a little Puerto Rico in there or something.
Hutch, you gotta pump it up. Puerto Rico's stepping on you.
Can't speak their language. Hey, you can. El Taco Bell. Oh, sí, señor.
Oh, what's that? You said Hutch has a very small penis? Okay, I'll 10-5 that.
Yep, I know my Spanish. I was doing this for. Well, if you don't speak any goddamn English, we're not going to talk to you. Exactly. Oh, es de 15, aquí los gringos metidos, es de 15. Oh, sí, señor. Yeah, you don't have to yell at me. I know, what pricks, huh? Why are they going to yell? Es de 15. Well, wait, did he say vacation? Yes, I need a vacation. You're right. Maybe I could get do cerveza por favor. ¿Qué pasa, mucho pendejo? Freaking Hawkeye.
I just noticed I've got coax hooked up to my free counter now, and as long as I have the amp on, it works.
Oh, nice. It doesn't work without the amp on?
No, maybe if I moved it closer to a piece of coax or something, but no, not just hanging there, it doesn't.
Oh, it's like a wireless no-touch thing?
Yeah.
Roger. You got me confused when I had coax hooked up to it.
Here's the mic for the Midland. Just using a stock mic. That's it. It's a small mic, but radio's built well. It's in excellent condition. There's like one scratch up here. When I got it, it was in the back seat of my truck. And I opened the door, and the dog jumped on the back and scratched the bezel.
Well, there's all them other big mean radios out there. I know some people, I only got one person watching, but somebody's going to be watching. Stop on in. You know we're here.
Works great. I've used it on sideband. Sounds great. Whoever owned it kept it inside.
Brig.
The boards are clean.
That was your first radio, huh? It actually had sideband.
Yeah, I actually wasn't technically my first radio. When I was real young, I remember having a walkie-talkie, but right before this, I had found a radio right here in the New Gloucester transfer station, which is weird because there used to be a trailer park over there, and my cousin lived in it. Well, one of his buddies had a CB, and I was showing some stuff, and I ended up finding this Pyramid mobile CB radio at the transfer station, and I rigged it up to a couple of Nintendo power packs and whatever. And I was throwing like 18 volts or something. I ran that for a couple of weeks before I smoked it. I had like a metal coat hanger screwed in the back. I ran that for like 2 weeks, smoked it, and then my aunt and uncle, right after that was my birthday, gave me this for my birthday, and I saved up my money for my baby blue, bought a baby blue big stick.
And you never look back.
Exactly, and here we are, still talking on the same radio I was talking on in 1993. Could have been 92, I don't remember which year now. Frick, I have to do the math. No, I think it was 92. Yeah, it was my 13th birthday, so 92.
I talked to the guy at the transfer station about if he saw any radios to set them aside for me.
Yeah, I remember we found this, and I was like, oh man, you weren't supposed to be picking through scrap or anything back then, and I was like hiding it. I think it was on like a Saturday or Sunday, they weren't open or something. I remember we snuck in there, and we were just kids, and like, man, I wonder if this works, and I rigged it up, and I didn't know crap about it, and I'm like, well, they went off 12 volts from a car battery, and they said it on the back, and I'm looking at like Nintendo power packs, all these wall warts, and they're like 9 volts, and I think I found a 12-volt one, or I spliced two in series or something, I don't know, I got it to work, it had a nasty hum, but it worked for a couple of weeks. Enough where I was like, well, I'm going to call my aunt and uncle, see if they could hear me, and they couldn't hear me in green. I'm like, oh, fuck. But I remember MacMan Lefty could hear me, so I was like, oh, I'm in.
Do you remember Radio Shack used to sell a center-loaded base station antenna that you just screwed to the back of the radio?
Yeah, I've had a couple of those. I actually wouldn't mind finding another one. I don't know why, but I got an eye, and I would love to listen. I don't want to set her up with anything too stupid, but yeah, they were like one of them 18-inch center coil load things that are good for like 5 watts.
I mean, I suppose if you lived in an apartment or you had neighbors like right on top of you, that's all you wanted it for, it'd be great.
Have you ever had to do anything to that radio, or is it just like worked since day one?
That worked from day one. I mean, I ran this thing for years. I didn't have money. I was, slinging papers as a kid, and I bought an antenna, and then I did some wheeling and dealing. I got a Barmy 1000, but I haven't done anything to this radio at all. I had extras in it, on the back and a couple switches, but I don't even think I've taken the cover off it. I just wasn't into it back then.
I don't see any wear marks around the AM lettering and up on USB and LSB. Something tells me that it's never been off of AM.
You're probably not wrong. I know I tried flipping the switches. The calibrating SUR switch still worked. The noise microphone was pretty rough, so that might be some lube. But yeah, I probably haven't really run it on sideman. I'm sure I have at least once or twice, but it wasn't a normal thing. I didn't even know there wasn't even a mudguard on it.
You know what's amazing, Hawkeye? I see people selling radios, and the front panel, all the lettering's worn off. And it's like, what are you guys doing to these radios? Are you like pouring honey all over your hands and then going outside and burying them in the play box, then going inside and using your radio?
Yeah, I mean, one is I can see a little bit on this versus volume, a little bit. I don't really think so, but yeah, it's like, what are they doing? You know, I can see the lettering on my like 2950 and 70, because moving those inside knobs, I do push my finger against the faceplate to move them, but a normal knob, why are you pushing your finger against the faceplate and turning it?
You've seen it. People selling radios, and I'm like, what are you people doing to these things? Are you just like attaching them to the bumper of your car and driving it down? I was looking at Hawkeye's stream. He wears a white glove when he operates his radio.
Yeah, I'm a white glover.
Yeah, I saw you on your live stream. You had white gloves on.
It takes a very light touch to turn a knob. Although I will say that the channel selector on the Regency, you almost need a pair of vice grips.
That's one thing about old radios. The channel selectors are very affirmative, whereas the new radios, you just have to squint on them and you can make them bump a channel. He's kind of a dumbass, but there was a video where Hard Drive hooked a drill up to one of those good Alps encoders, and he was freaking pulling the trigger and just, and that thing didn't miss a beat.
What, just torture testing it?
Yeah, he was making a point that a lot of the new CBs, the encoder is very cheap, and it's very light. Whereas the older radios, the encoder, it's an Alps. And the Alps are just much better built, and I guess he was just trying to show how tough they were. It was kind of just a funny video. Hooked a drill up to it, he just gave it a full chooch.
Yeah, sometimes I wonder if somebody's like cleaning them, but it's almost always the volume knob first, so, you know, I don't know, maybe if you're lazy, like a Cobra 2000, the way they're set up, it's on a coffee table, and you're reaching over, and your fingers just kind of laying on it, maybe? I don't know.
Well, I could see Cobra, you know, if he's laying on the couch and he's got the blanket up over his head, and he has to, like, feel around for which button does what to figure it out. I could see that.
Well, you also have to have a headlamp on when you're crawling around in your blanket for it in the living room. Sometimes the headlamp bumps the front of the radio and you wear the writing off.
Exactly.
Like some of these push buttons with the writing on them, those I can see getting run off. Or the writing right above them, maybe you touch it, you know, something along that line.
Tell you one thing, for all the hoo-ha about Cobra radios, this Midland that I'm on, it's like the letters are recessed on the front panel and they're paint filled. The build quality on this Midland is far superior to the Cobra.
Well, I found this Cobra 19 I got here. I seen one of the earlier. That's a 23 channel Cobra 19. I want to see if it works. I finally get it cleaned up. I'm gonna take some shelf space and use it just for old crappy radios that have 23 channels that ain't worth anything. And I'm gonna have like a shelf full of these radios, and it's gonna be awesome.
I think, you know, the Regency was the first mobile radio I owned. And then after I ran that for probably 6 months or something, the Cobra 19, I can't remember if it was 19 plus, but, you know, it had the digital readout and the bar graph. And I had like a glove box thing in the dash of my truck, and I cut out the back of it. And it slid right in there. It was a friction fit, and man, I was proud of that install.
Heck yeah. It's always good to have a little like recess in the dash or someplace cool to install. We're like, look at that. It's not just screwed to the dash on the side.
Well, you know, everything was on the front panel of that radio, the mic connection and all the up-down buttons. And, you know, the fact that it was slid right in there, it just looked like part of the dash. I loved it.
You were the big man on campus.
Look at me and my Cobra 19, he says. Oh, I'm off that audio check 1, 2 is local now, but we hear you.
Testicle, 1, 2.
I think I need a snack.
Oh, snack. I didn't even bring a soda up here with me. Son of a bitch.
I got my, I don't know if Dirty Diaper's watching.
Are you up on the upper deck?
Got my the upper deck.
Yes, I'm up in the radio room, not the office, which I guess technically that's my radio room, that's all I use it for, but we're in a big room up on the upper deck. So it's coax run from inside, everything's run from an extension cord, so there's no power up here. You know, the good stuff.
Upper deck. Makes it sound so much more elite.
So if you turned to your right and took like 3 steps, you'd be like, after a 2-second fall, you'd be in the hot tub.
Yeah. The hot tub's just about, it's right below the couch, so yeah, I'm pretty damn close, yep.
You can cannonball right into it.
Freaking right. You think you get a water slide from up here or something?
Oh, Screwdriver, you might be able to tap into a whole new audience if you do a live hot tub stream on the CB.
But you can hear it and kind of see it from down there. I could run the coax on a little radio on the wall or on the side. I guess what I should do, just on the cover, I'll just throw a radio on top and run it and be like, oh, here we are.
Would you wear your one-piece or your two-piece bikini?
Go one piece. That'd be freaking awesome, man.
Yeah, you gotta wear the lime green mankini just like on Borat. it'll be crazy. If my, one person from my OnlyFans comes over.
The guys out in Puerto Rico will be going, ay, 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 caramba.
Yeah, they might even, looking into that stream. Holy crap. Guess they don't like the idea of a live stream from a hot tub.
Oh, I just think of it. There was a girl on Twitch that would do that. Was it Twitch? One of those gamer girls. And she'd be in a hot tub. I don't know why. The mental image of you in the Borat one piece Speedo there. Oh God.
But you know why she is, because it brings in more views, but I don't know. I would love to try it. You know, chest hair hanging out of that thing, glistening, you know, throwing the hair back, a little bit of water. Man, I would ham it up in the background. You'd hear some, "She's my cherubah."
I had a buddy that, it's kind of funny. He went through a divorce, and you know, he was happy. He got through the divorce, and he lost a lot of weight, kind of put himself out there in the market, and we were out ice fishing, and he came out in a pair of you know, the insulated rubber boots that you wear when you go ice fishing that are just below the knee, and an American flag Speedo. And that got on Facebook, and there was people we didn't even know. That picture started making its rounds in all the ice fishing groups, and people were like, "What the hell?"
I seen a guy on there that looked exactly, I don't know if he looked exactly the same, but a little bigger guy, and he mowed his lawn, and he had on the bikini fucking like Speedos, American flag, with these boots that get up to his knees, and he was out there mowing his lawn and making comments. Oh, it's freaking hilarious.
I gotta see if I can find this picture now. It was pretty friggin' funny. Shaved head, hairy chest, and a nut hugger.
Nice.
I will return when I find a tasty treat.
You know, as I sit here and look around, I'm thinking I could have a pretty big pile for Hawkeye.
Hey, you just want me to bring you something to eat and a Mountain Dew.
Exactly. I'm half crippled, man. I don't like walking up and down this ladder.
I hear you.
And I didn't necessarily love it before. Yeah, I don't even know what I got in these totes up here. I'm kind of scared to open them up.
A walk down CB radio memory lane.
I mean, like, there's a bunch of ammo crates, so I think those actually have ammo in them. And I've got skis up here and boots and all that stuff. And yeah, but it really came out of my CB room, came up here. But it was funny. I had this like toy box thing in my radio room, and you know, wood chest. I don't have it anymore, but I opened it up to finally move. I used to use it as a foot stand on my couch. And it was the same couch. Anyway, I opened it up, and I was was pulling out shit that I don't even remember buying. You know, the amp that I have up to camp for my dad. And this little like 2 bill or whatever, but it's all gold. Heat sink, everything's gold. It's got these LED bar graphs across it for, you know, power and modulation. It's a cool amp. And I have no idea how I was sitting in that friggin' box. I'm like, whoa, look at this. This is cool. I mean, it was like Christmas opening that thing up. It was a time machine. I finally get this metal roofing inside and downstairs and get my little cubicle desk up. Might have to trim some off the top. I think it's too tall, but once I get that up, then I can start going through some of this crap. Not that I need to, but I want to.
Advised, Brunswick. I don't know if they're out or not, but I just received a message from them asking for us to go away.
Actually, where I'm at talking, I don't even want all these reviews in here. It's a nice bench and desk down here, but I want to close it off and make this a separate little room and soundproof it and just make it my radio room, but, you know, have a couple of studio mics and one radio. Like, everything else is on the outside. You know, I just want nice, I want a quiet room. I can go in here and scream, I can use it as a recording studio, whatever. You know, so I just want to take, like, 10-foot or a 12-foot by 12-foot area and section it off and just have that be just for talking. I don't want to work on shit in here. That'll be the other half of it.
Yeah, but don't forget you have to have a snack service window so your wife can pass snacks through to you.
I know, right? We do have a little fridge down here, but it would be nice to get some snacks delivered. A little dumbwaiter.
Well, you could just cut a hole and, you know, she could take the nachos with the hot cheese and just open it up and then slide.
Hell yeah.
I can see it now. Ooh, I gotta go. Nachos are here.
Yeah, look, it's not delivery. It's, well, I ain't DiGiorno's, but it's coming down my ding-dong ditch.
See, I got all the good ideas. Hot tub stream, nacho service window.
Man, if I could get the hot tub up here.
Oh man, we might be attracting the wrong kind of audience if you invite over all your CB radio friends to get in the hot tub at once.
Yeah, let's have a hot tub party and talk on the radio. Let's go.
We might be tapping into the wrong algorithm.
Yeah, 6 of us in the hot tub, all congregating around like a COVID 2000.
The hell happened to Regal and Hutch? Where'd they go?
I think we scared them.
There's no running Regal off.
Where are you, Floyd? You out there listening? 2 a.m. is rough, but key up. We want to hear some Squattyville. Of course, I say something and I'm getting a little swap.
Oh, that was a nice, tasty treat.
Well, what did you have?
It was something my daughter bought. Oatmeal crumble, apple, like a fig bar.
picture Hawkeye having radios on a Lazy Susan.
Yeah, well, yeah. I'm back on the Aries because I got to do a little repair to the power cord on the GE.
No, that Lazy Susan ain't a bad idea.
Radio Lazy Susan. Let's see. What are we going to run tonight?
I was thinking one of those like conveyor belts where they go up and then it cycles back around and we come down the backside.
You mean like when you go to the dry cleaners? You just punch in what you get the ticket. Oh, okay. You hit the number and it brings up your dry cleaning.
Oh, that'd be freaking awesome.
We actually repair those at work. Not the actual like mechanical assembly, but the actual control box. Inventory management system.
Yeah.
Oh, we got to come up with a better acronym than that. Something that ties in with Fun Adventure Radio Time.
Speaking of Fun Adventure Radio Time.
I still like the shark. You gotta like stop putting this Fun Adventure Radio Time. You actually just gotta spell fart with decimal points in between everything, so it's so people catch on.
Man, there had to be like one strand left on this power cord that was actually connected.
Just like my hair, getting a little thin.
Well, I thought that was the fun part, is how long are people going to look at Fun Adventure Radio Time and go, why does he capitalize the first letter of every word and have it hit him over the head like a Wile E. Coyote?
That's true. Not that obvious is kind of cool, too.
We have to remember, too, that Radio Man still has a social life.
This is a social life.
The original social.
That's right. This is the original AOL.
He still bumps into people at the transfer station that will still talk to him.
Nice.
That's when I get out once a week on the weekend. I go to the dump. Hey, we heard you today, Hawkeye. We heard your beep, and Cobra called back to you. Probably around 4 o'clock, 3:30.
I don't think it was me. I did leave it. I left at 3:30, but I was headed south. I ran down to camp. I don't even think I turned the radio on.
Oh, man, you did some miles.
Yeah, I got a tire that keeps going down on the side-by-side, and I couldn't find my iPad. It's been bugging me for 2 weeks, and I just had this overwhelming feeling that if I went down to the camper, I would find it.
And did you?
I did. I can't believe it. It's been keeping me up at night.
It was probably in the bathroom in the magazine rack. His silence speaks volumes.
Yeah. How did you know?
You ever had that when you go into the bathroom at work and there's like a cell phone sitting on the toilet paper holder?
Yeah. They're like, well, if you come back in for it now, you're going to be waiting.
Well, that happened to me one day. I went to use the can, and as soon as I got, situated, there was like a frantic knock on the door. It's like, what do you think I'm going to do? Slide it under the door? You're shit out of luck there, buddy.
Yeah, there's no touching of hands underneath the door when you're taking a crap.
No. No, it was just kind of funny. Like, I just kind of looked to my right and went, huh, there's a cell phone sitting there. And, like, they must have, like, tried to call it or something. Because they're like, oh, I've done that where I misplaced my phone. It's like, oh, I'll text it or call it or whatever. And, the thing starts going, boop, 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 on the toilet paper holder. And I'm like, dude, I'm not touching that thing. And if it vibrates off the toilet paper holder onto the floor, I'm not touching it either.
Yeah, I'm installed too. You can get it in 12 minutes.
Yeah. Well, what's even worse, there's been stories of people leaving handguns in the bathroom because I guess when they drop trowel, like they'll I don't know why they remove it from their holster for some reason. I mean, I know a guy that happened to.
Yeah, I think I read last year, well, not last year, it's probably 10 years ago now, but guy in like Target or someplace across the United States doing that, somebody else finding it. I've taken mine out when I go take a dump, just because the way it fits, it's just a pain in the ass, so if I take it out, then I can pull my pants up after I'm done, and then put it back in the holster. I tend to think that I'm responsible enough to know to always put it back in, but I can almost see, just like the cell phone, I can almost see how that happens.
God, I am definitely afraid of something like that. I got a pretty sturdy belt, so it stays put. And I don't know, because I just so afraid of something like, not that I'm like, oh, I'm forgetful, but I'm just trying to minimize the chance of that happening. I worked with a guy, and this is funny, for obvious reasons, maybe too in the workplace, like, I don't, like with friends it's different, about concealed carry in family, but, maybe your coworkers, that's not something you talk about. Maybe the company has a policy about not doing it for obvious, so obvious reasons you're not talking about it. So I worked with a guy, and he comes up to me like real quiet, and he's like, hey, I don't care, but I just wanted to handle this discreetly. And he kind of lifts his shirt. I go, oh, what's going on here? He's like, I found that in the bathroom. Who do you think it is?
Oh man, yeah, that's rough.
Well, so it was a small company I worked at the time, and I said, I think it's this guy. And he went up and, quietly said, hey man, I'm not going to say anything, but I just quickly grabbed it, in case somebody else found it, freaked out. And the guy was like, oh my God, he was so embarrassed.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely going to make you feel like an irresponsible person. I mean, you left a fucking loaded firearm in a public restroom. Whether it's your work or someplace else, that's scary.
Yeah, it was just so funny though. Like, I guess he thought me, I maybe by the way I talk, he's like, because he prefaced it with like, hey man, I'm not gonna tell on you, I don't care, it's cool. He just like lifts his shirt. Like, Jesus Christ. So it's like, he's like, well, who do you think it is? He's like, I can't go around just asking everybody. And I'm like, I think it's this guy. It was a good guess.
I was in Hannaford one night, and it was in the wintertime. I was wearing a ski jacket, that had like a pocket in the top that you could put stuff in from the top or the side. And I had a Smith & Wesson 6906 in the top of the pocket there, and I bent down to grab something off the bottom shelf, and that fucker came flying out and hit the floor. It was spinning like a top. It must have slid about 6 feet. I'm standing there looking at my gun spinning around, sliding down the aisle.
Oh, man, yeah. I remember I had an ankle holster for a while. A little LCP was in it. No, my Kimber carry too, either way. I was fucking doing something, and I stopped at the side of the road, so it broke down, so whatever it was. Yeah, it was somebody broke down. So I'm on the side of the road helping them replace a tire. And I fucking lift my legs up because I'm like under it holding something up, and that fucking thing falls down and hits the ground, and I'm like, oh my god, are you fucking kidding me?
Oh, I guess a shoulder holster is good for bathroom operations.
Yes, I don't wear the right type of shirts for that, but yes, that would be really good.
Yeah, shoulder holsters only, depending, you gotta have a cover, I guess they call it cover garment for a shoulder holster, but I don't know. I'm trying to think if I've ever had, I'm just picturing Hawkeye in Walmart with that thing spinning like a top. I was laughing out loud.
Chasing it down every time he gets close, he kicks it another 5 feet.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if I've ever had anything like that happen. Oh, well, I had a neighbor. He was, like my age, and he was cool. We talked and shit. And I had a feeling, you know how it is, like, people that are, like, I guess we'll say into gun culture, and people that are not into gun culture. Well, he was not. And, I've always lived out in the woods, and, I was single. And he came to the door and knocked one day, and I wasn't really thinking. I went to the door with no shirt on, and the eyes on him, like, I think he thought I was trying to make a statement, and I was like, oh, no, it's not like that, man. And he was like, gee, what do you need that for? I always love that question. What do you need that for?
And I get it. When I was younger, I used to look at people with guns like, pussies, and we need that for, just fight it out, and like anybody that carried all the time, I'd be like, yeah, I don't necessarily want you in my house, or, I had guns, I'm like, why do you feel the need to carry all the time? And then I started carrying, and I've been carrying for 20 some odd years now, 30 years I've had my license, but, and I get it, but there definitely was a time where I was like, well, I don't know why you have to carry in somebody's house, or when you go out, what do you think's going to happen? But once you start carrying, it's all or nothing, and I completely get it now. But back when I was, 18, I'm like, no, I'm like, just take your ass whooping like a man.
Yeah, well, it's like someone, you don't know if you're ever in a situation where you need it. If you knew going into the situation you were actually going to need it, you shouldn't have went there. I think, you know what I'm trying to say? Like, I was talking to a guy about that one day, and it's like, if you're going to willingly walk into a situation where you think you need it, that's foolish. But most people, when they start their day, don't envision ever needing it. Because, I have a friend that's like, oh, well, it's in my glove box. And I'm like, well, what good's it in your glove box?
I'm kind of like right in that middle. Like, I don't know. People give me crap. So, I'm all about the situational awareness. But I am one of them weird people. I can't say weird. It's a split, and this makes people heated. But I carry a gun, but I don't keep one in the chamber. So I got to take that extra split second to rack one. That's how I've trained. So my muscle memory racks one. But it gives me that extra second to think. Now I've seen a lot of videos where people are using it, it's just click. There's not one in the chamber. People get really heated over it and say, well, why isn't there one in the round? That's like driving a car with no gas. I'm like, what? No, that don't fucking make sense. I'm like, it's there. It's not. Yeah. People have all kinds of shit they compare it to. I'm like, that don't make any sense. I'm like, I get that extra split second to think. Now, again, in oh shit instance, you gotta pull that trigger and it goes click because you didn't have time to rack it. Or if you're gonna get mugged, I'm like, chances are, I'm never gonna get mugged and have to pull it and fire it without having the time to rack it. With that being said, I have been walking in some places, and this is funny because it stopped me from going to these places. Like, there were certain bars where I knew it gets heated. I wouldn't go in anymore with it because I had a gun. So, I can legally do it, but I just chose not to. So I didn't put myself in those situations. But there's been situations like I'm walking down a shitty little alley and it's dark out in Lewiston. I have wrapped around and reholstered it just in case. You're walking through Kennedy Park and there's all this shit going down. Yeah, situational awareness does a lot. I try not to put myself in them situations, though.
I thought Kennedy Park was a nice place.
Yeah, tell that to the people who've gotten their ass beaten and died from their injuries.
Yeah, I was being totally sarcastic, but yeah. No, I know what you mean. I don't, that whole thing, like when people get real heated about the whole one in the pipe and not in the pipe and all that, I'm like, it's a very personal thing. And I'm like, if that's what you want to do, you do it. I kind of feel like I don't get that heated about that stuff. Like, the whole argument about the 45 and the 9, like, that, if that's what you want to do, like I carry this and a 40 and 45 and, 380, blah, 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 whatever. Hey, man, it is a very personal matter. And I don't really, it's like, if someone says, like, I don't, I just, I'm like, okay, cool, that's what you do. This is what I do,
Oh, man, we finally met somebody on the same page as me, Screwdriver. Let me make sure I have it here.
Yes.
Yeah, I carry a knife every day, but I don't carry it with the blade open. So I look at carrying a gun as the same as carrying a knife, and I in most cases I would have time to rack it if I need it. But if I, like you said, if I was at Kennedy Park at night, I could rack one in that situation. But 99.9% of the time, I'm probably not going to get mugged. And like you said, having that extra second to stop and think. In fact, I carry a Smith & Wesson Model 60 38 Special a lot of the times, and I actually would use it as brass knuckles to punch somebody in the face before I would shoot them.
Yeah, exactly. Like I said, I've seen videos where these people are very trained and skilled people. And, I've never been in this situation, so I don't know, but your adrenaline's pumping, you pull your gun, and it goes click because you didn't wrap one in. Because you think you would have time to do it. But in that instance, when something's happening, you don't. So like when I train, I go to the range, I go back here, whatever. I train pulling out, racking it, and then shooting. That's just how I train it, so I have that muscle memory to do it. You know, I'm also one of these people like I don't use. I've got a laser in my Sig that I carry a lot. I don't use it. You know, I got lasers on other stuff, and they're fun toys, but I don't use it. Because what if you go to pull it and that laser don't work, or you can't find the button or whatever? No. I'm using iron sights, and I always look at it. If I gotta shoot somebody, which I hope I never do, but it's not at a movie theater, and it's not somebody, well, it could be, but it's probably not going to be somebody that's fucking 30 yards away. It's going to be somebody in my house that's 10 feet, 12 feet, the distance of a room. I don't need to aim to hit somebody, you know, mass body at that distance. It's just fucking point in that direction and pull the trigger.
I always like in the movies when the car's speeding away and they're like shooting at the car and it's like 100 yards away. It's like, you ain't hitting that.
Yeah, people are, the movies ruin all of it. But yeah, you know, I mean, yeah, like I said, I just know some people get really easy about the, having one in the chamber or not. And I just choose not to. I've heard all kinds of acronyms, and not acronyms, but people trying to compare it to, you know, well, selling your car for gas money or doing this. I'm like, no, you have everything you need. So it's not loaded. I'm like, you know, it's like saying you have a car. Are you going to leave it running all the time so you can get back into it so you can take off? Or are you going to put your key in, turn the key on, you know? I just, you know, like I said, situational awareness. If you're robbing a 7-Eleven, well, you're probably going to keep the car running. You know, if I'm walking through Kennedy Park, I'm probably going to have one in the chamber. But I'm like, these are situations that I don't do, so I don't need to worry about it.
I've said it before, I'll say it again, and I'll say it again. If all the good people in this world carried a gun, the bad people would stay home.
Exactly. You know, I feel so content and safe where I'm public, and I don't carry it around on me all the time now, because of my job, because of a couple of reasons, but, like, I'll be on my bike at 3 in the morning, I'm stopping at 7-Eleven, hanging out with these crackheads. I love hanging out at 7-Eleven crackheads. And some people are like, oh no, and I'll think, granted, I'll stop there with my gun too, I don't really care, but, you know, you got some thugs that come around, some gangbangers, dealers, whatever, in their cars or so. Especially when I have my gun on me, like, I am so calm, like, none of it bothers me. It just, that equalizes everything, and it makes you feel, doesn't make you feel like a big man, but it just makes it feel like, okay, I can live my life, I'm not worried about something.
Speaking of crackheads.
What, your flamethrower?
No. When I left Five Guys the other day and I went to my truck, I assumed it was a crack pipe. It was like a glass straw. And I went to my truck, and the girl that worked at the Five Guys in Augusta, she did like the catch me, flip me, fuck me with the pipe when she saw me. And if it was weed, I mean, people are just smoking weed out in the open now. I don't know if it was crack, but it was like a glass straw, like a glass cigarette. She had a lighter at the end of it. And when I came around the corner to get in my truck, I assumed that thing must have been hot too, because she did the catch me, flip me, fuck me with it. When she saw me, she dropped it. So I don't know what she was smoking.
Nice. I was down the road here at Crossroads. We were at the subway. I think it's Crossroads. Whatever. It's a little more right there by the turnpike. We're at that subway. We're getting lunch. This was a couple days ago. And this is, I don't know, it's just disgusting. But this guy gets out of his car, smoking a cigarette. Whatever. I don't like smoking cigarettes, but whatever. Well, he bends over, and there's a sidewalk there with a curbing. Well, he fucking places the cigarette on this curbing. Didn't put it out, just placed it there. Goes in the store, does his thing, comes back out a couple minutes later with a monster or whatever. He picks the cigarette up off the ground, and like, the butt end wasn't like it was hanging off the curb in the air. It was on the curb. he just puts it in his mouth and keeps puffing away. I'm like, you know, all these truckers are walking there, like, people have piss on their shoes, shit on their shoe. I'm like, it was the most disgusting thing I ever saw. I'm like, that is vile.
Well, $10 a pack.
Yeah, you put the damn thing out and put it in your pocket, you know. You don't leave it on the sidewalk. I don't care if it's only for a couple of minutes. And like I said, it wasn't even hanging off the curb. It was literally on the whole curb. I'm like, people wipe their shoes on that one. They only get dog shit on it. I'm like, it's just, I'm like, you could have just, you know, pinched the cherry off, put it in your pocket, and relit it.
That is pretty gross.
Gross you out more if you're the one that was wiping your shoe on it just yesterday.
Yeah, you knew you wiped your foot on there. You're like, oh, that's disgusting.
Oh yeah, I mean, people, like you said, they go, you know, people step in piss or whatever, or they step in dog shit, and people spit on the curb and vomit on the curb, and yeah, no, I wouldn't be doing that, but I don't know. Last I saw, I don't know if they're cheaper than that, but you know, a long time ago, it's a weird thing with me. When I was in high school, I worked at a convenience store, and cigarettes were a price. People followed that like the stock market, and I don't know why, but to this day, I don't smoke cigarettes. I still follow the price of gas and smokes from working in the store, because that was like a constant thing. Like, you get people come in and they'd be like, they would buy a pack of smokes and then they go put the rest on pump 2. This was back when gas was like $1 a gallon, though.
Yeah, they're stupid expensive now. At least up here, it's cheaper down south, but yeah, it's ridiculous. I don't know how anybody can afford to smoke. You know, I get rolling your own and this and that, but still, I'm like, it's crazy. I mean, all right, it's no different than like to go out sport shooting now. I used to be out shooting every weekend. I used to train, I used to practice, I've done courses, you know, whatever. And I haven't shot in like 2 years. I'm like, I can't even, I mean, I could afford it, but I choose not to, is I can't afford to go through 1,000 rounds every weekend anymore. You know, I'm like, how the fuck do you afford to go through, you know, a carton of cigarettes every week? I mean, I guess I go to the bar usually every week and I spend $60, so it is what it is, you know. I'm not here to judge, but I'm like, man, you know, that is one hobby that, you know, used to cost you $20 for a carton of cigarettes. Now it's like $100. That's crazy.
Hawkeye's spinning the lazy Susan as we speak.
Yeah, I'm looking around at all these radios, and it's all because I've never smoked.
We were just talking about that earlier. I'm like, you know, I don't want to spend money on shipping for a radio. I don't want to do this. So I'm like, if I didn't go out this week, I would save more money than shipping a radio is going to cost. I'm like, oh, if I didn't go out, I could treat myself to a new radio every week or every 2 weeks.
Oh, we should probably explain to the listening audience that Hawkeye is running one of the much coveted Anytone Aries 2.
Yes, he could probably turn around and sell that right now for $500.
For 30 packs of cigarettes in trade.
Yeah, one carton, it's yours. And what is it? I like to go out and have, you know, a couple of Captain Cokes, and they're $10 a piece. So, you know, whatever they are, I pay $10 a piece with tips or whatever. It's $6, $8, $9.50, $3. I don't care. That's what I'm giving. So I'll go have a couple of them every week, you know. And I'm like, okay, you know, I guess that's like smoking a couple packs of cigarettes. There's really no difference, but yeah, it just seems like that's a lot more money now. 440 or 450, something like that.
Oh man, I do love the 440s. I never owned a 450, and I've been tempted, but man, I do love the 440s.
440 is definitely better on AM. I'm just looking up and thinking, what can go in the what should go in the Hawkeye pile?
Yeah, that would be a good one to slide over there, at least close to the pile.
I'm looking like, well, I can keep X amount of radios. I'm like, whatever fits on this part of the bench is what I should keep. Whatever doesn't is what I should get rid of. And that's going to bring me to my next big purchase someday. I think this week I'm gonna clean this place out up here a little bit over the next few days. And after I get rid of this siding and this roofing up here, and I can set my other table up, it's gonna be on. I'm gonna clean it up and at least have a clue of what I have. I know I've got shit in totes that are expensive collector's radios that I love, and I'm like, man, do I really need them? I mean, they're cool to have, but right about now, that's all it is just to say I have it. I don't run it. Radio man, what do you normally run for an HF rig? What do you have over there?
I have an FT897, you know, and it's almost like a shack in a box. It does HF up through UHF. And I have the little brother to it, the 857, which is basically the same thing but smaller. I also got the Johnson Viking. I got a Globe Scout. What else I got? I know I'm missing something. Hold on, I'm looking around the room here. I got a 10 Tech Omni. What is it? Omni D. That's an oldie. And then I got some of these radios I'm rounding off are just transmitters, and then I have receivers that go with them.
Gotcha. I didn't know what your everyday use would be. I didn't talk down every day or anything, but I kind of been looking at an 817 recently. Yeah, I remember the 897. It's still a pretty small mobile, but it was bigger. But yeah, I was looking at an 817 as battery power. It's just a tiny little thing. They're pretty cheap. I mean, I don't know how they are on AM, but I was like, it'd be a great little, like, throw in a bag, bug out radio.
Yeah, those have been around for a while. So I worked for a company. So Motorola, it all changed, but it was like Motorola owned Vertex, or it was some sort of weird fucking partnership. And where I worked, they had what was called a VIP program, and I could buy radios at cost. So if you were like like a technician, you could buy. Well, anyways, that whole thing fizzled out. They split. They went aviation ham, and the side that I worked for was part of aviation, and I lost that program. But I bought that 897 and the 857 through that program, so I got them dirt cheap. Wow, as cheap as you could get them.
Yeah, it's like I had a 706 Mark II. That was a decent radio. I had an 847 base. Well, I think it was technically a mobile, but based over here, and that covered everything. It was a satellite radio. Horrible on AM though. I think one of the best working radios I had was my TS2000. X that had 1.2 gig in it, and it was a good working radio. I just couldn't get past the looks of it. I don't know. It just didn't do it for me. But yeah, I've been thinking.
It's got side rails on it. I got it up on the live stream right now. My 857, it has these side rails on it, so if you were to put it in a backpack, it protects the rear connector. In the front, if it was default, protects all the knobs, and it has a battery box on it. Kind of see it in the live feed a little bit. Let's see how you can kind of, I don't know. I got this battery box here. Weighs a ton though, but you could run this. These are decent little radios. They're not great on AM though. They suck on AM, but they're great little sideband radios.
Surprised you don't fire one of those up for sideband night. Yeah, I don't really care for doing the POTA thing, but the mobile thing, I'm like, an all-around radio. And I know they make the new radios, they have some that do the same thing. Well, like I said, 817, you pick off like $400 now. With a battery, it's got your top mount fucking antenna. I mean, you can literally wear it as like a sachet. Like, that's kind of cool. My Traveler's been doing his POTA thing, and he's got his battery box, his ammo box, with the radio in it and battery and all these hookups and a solar charger, and I'm thinking, I don't know, it'd be kind of cool to make something like that and not go too crazy, but yeah, I don't know. I've been contemplating it.
The Yaesu 891 has got incredible audio, and you might look at that for a mobile, portable type rig.
Yeah, that's like the newer version of the 817, right, or whatever the hell it was.
It's the newer version of the 857 that Radio Man has. It's a 100-watt rig. The 817 is cool but it's mostly, I think, if you want to listen, if you want to monitor.
I see people talking on them quite often. Little tiny screen, little, it is what it is, but it doesn't weigh anything either. And it's got a battery in it, like, that's kind of cool. If you can charge it up before you go, it's basically a Randy Bobandy, but with everything.
Yeah, no question. I had one. It was cool.
Have you looked at any of the Zygoos? I mean, they're kind of controversial with some people because, they're super China. I mean, everything's China, but the Zygu makes some portable stuff. It's practically a handheld SDR, but it's a transceiver.
Yeah, I've looked at some of those. It was just kind of, I can make one with like a Cobra 25 or a Cobra 19 in a box and still do the same thing for what I'm probably going to use it for, but it was kind of like, just thinking. I don't know, it'd be, just thinking, it'd be kind of cool.
On the phone with him and
Yeah, well, that's kind of what I have a plan to do.
you got the address over there.
I got a bag that has a sleeve in it, and I was going to use my Lincoln 2, and I was going to do that this weekend, but the weather's been so shitty. I'm going to do it. We'll have a good weekend. I was going to take the Lincoln 2, I got a bag. I was going to put a little gel cell in it, and I was going to take the Randy Bobandy, and I was going to run both. I was just going to do some testing. I was going to set up the jungle antenna, and I put all the stuff for the jungle antenna in the bag, and I'll do it. Just got to wait for some better weather.
The Randy will do you fine. You can just hook up a piece of coax and hook it up to a regular antenna. The Randy does it. Maybe if it was one of the newer things that have sideband, 10, 11, and 12, it'd be kind of cool. It's got a rechargeable battery. I like that. It's not necessarily for getting out, and it's not like, but it's kind of cool. Thursday night and you're way up in the middle of nowhere, it'd be great to have like an HF rig that doesn't take a lot of power and, you know, to try to really hit those distant stations.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I got all kinds of crap. I thinned a lot of stuff out before I moved, just because I was like, I don't know. I had a moment when I was moving. I'm like, man, I haven't even looked at this thing in 4 years, and I don't know. I think it was just for my own sanity when I was moving, and it's like, why did I save this? You know, like a cardboard box with a bunch of scrap wire in it. I'm like, why did I save this?
It's like half the radios here, I keep thinking to myself, you know, I gotta get rid of them. And I thought about, even before I acquired a lot more of these radios, my collection. I wasn't even gonna reset up my shelves. I'm like, you know what? I just need one radio, maybe two for a spare, and I'm gonna buy a big amp. I'm gonna sell the rest of my stuff and buy a big amp. And this was in my mind 5 years ago. And like, I'm like, I don't need all this. I'm like, I haven't fired to 2000 in fucking 5 years, and this one in 6 years, and whatever, and the Izu in fucking 4 years. And I'm like, I don't need it. You know. But then after I moved, I started putting it together and putting them all on the wall. I'm like, you know what? I don't know. Like, I look around here. Like, I'm sitting here right now just staring at all these radios that I could name off, and they're amazing. And I'm like, you know, I gotta sell some of them. Like all the doubles, like there's so many, you know, 148s, and there's only a couple of those left, but 148F, and, you know, using Grand XLs and Galaxy 88s, whatever, you know, a couple Madisons, a couple Washingtons, a couple of CPIs, you know, and like, I don't need all these, you know, 2517s, Cobra 2000s, I got fucking 10 of them. I'm like, I don't need all these. But, you know, I still want to keep like one of them because they're cool. But I'm like, I could probably get rid of a lot of shit and a lot of doubles. So I mentioned 440s. I think I own 4 of those fucking things.
Yeah, the TS4. What did I have? I think I must have the 440. It's got the internal tuner in it. Yeah, I think a TS440 SAT. I had one of those at one time. I've had a lot of things at one time.
Yeah, I've had some stuff I got rid of that were one-offs, and I'm like, nah, I really want to keep it, but I'm like, nah, why? But the 440 is a great radio. I think it's, you know, I got the 430 here, the 440s, the 450. I have my 940, my 930, and I think the 440 is the best overall, especially for AM, but even sideband, it's just the best overall rig. Yeah, automatic tuner, go to wherever the hell you want, hit a button, and you're done.
Yes, I agree. The 440 was a good radio. It had some things that popped up, but that was just because of age. Wasn't really a fault of the radio. Some things that kind of went wonky. But yeah, I agree. That was a good radio. That went down the line. But I definitely couldn't get by. Like if I was like, I only need one bass. Make a comment. You said I only need one bass, one mobile, and one portable. Let's say that's all I need. I'm like, no. No, I like to have at least a couple of each. You know, at least minimum. I mean, but we'll see. This tower project's got to get done, and then the radio room. And I had a really neat radio room set up at my old place. Like I had a nice bench, and I had everything all stacked up nice. And now I'm like operating on freaking card tables and power strips, and I'm just kind of dealing with what I got right now. Because it was more important to be on the air than to be on the air in a more aesthetic way at the time.
Yeah, my stuff inside it's 50-50. There's definitely still power strips this now, but it's a fairly decent setup. Besides the sketchiness of the power supply for the amp and that kind of stuff, but out here, there's no electricity up here. It's just an extension cord. You know, so everything's running off a plug downstairs, and it's sketchy. And yeah, I got rigged up, you know, I mean, I somewhat organized. It looks good up here. Like I can look around and I like what I see. Even though I don't need all of it, but I like what I see.
Come on, Hawkeye, speak up. I know you're there.
Here's another bench and some more radios.
Like that Beck song, 2 turntables and a microphone. It's 2 Lazy Susans and a microphone for Hawkeye.
I'm liking the Lazy Susan idea because you could put the power supply in the middle, and you could literally spin it. It wouldn't affect anything.
Just spitballing here while we're talking about radio stuff. Practicality and how many times I would use it, I always wanted to set up, this is the thing, is I probably would never use it or maybe use it once. I knew a guy that did this. I would love to set up, multiple microphones and have, a hang. Invite people over, a radio night, and have multiple microphones. And when you key up, everyone can participate. I knew a guy that did this on 75 AM. He had a couch in his radio room, and he had mics on arms, the vertical and then the horizontal arm that came out, so you could put the mic stand on the edge of the couch, and you could move it into where you were sitting. And it was pretty goddamn funny. He used to have little hangs at his house, and people come over, and he had a mini fridge. People were popping beers. They're all on the radio. And I'm like, personally, I probably wouldn't be something that would get used a lot, but I'm like, that's kind of cool. So when I started thinking about Hawkeye with the Lazy Susan, I was picturing everyone sitting around a round table.
At Cobra's house, he's got enough antennas up. Everybody's got their own antenna, their own radio, sitting around a legit round table and just stepping on each other, trying to make comments.
I think you know what I'm trying to say. This guy was one radio, and he had mics all into a mixing board. And it surprisingly worked very well. He would key up the transmitter, and if you wanted to say something, you just said something.
Yeah, give everybody push buttons in their hand so they can key up whenever they wanted and make comments. I mean, that would be really cool. I don't know how often it would actually get used. Every time I invite people over, I don't invite people over to talk on the radio. People come over from the radio, and I just want to hang out and shoot the shit. But there's been times when we do the 4-wheel thing or on the back of a truck, I notice, this is going to be cool. And we use the radio for 15 minutes, and then we just end up all shooting the shit around the fire or whatever. As cool as it is, I'm like, I don't know how often we use, but it would be wicked cool to do.
Well, I fully admit it. I've seen it, or a lot of people now are podcasting. Everyone's freaking podcasting. They got fucking podcasting about plumbing. I mean, I was just thinking, I see that where they have it all set up, and it's they're having a little party, everyone's drinking, everyone's around the table, and they're podcasting, and I'm like, you could do that on the radio. I mean, it's really no different. Just replace the recorder with a radio. It's the same goddamn thing. But yeah, like you said, I don't know how often it would get used, but it would be kind of fun, even if you just set it up and got it to work one time, and start passing out drinks to people and get food going. It probably would make for some funny shit.
Heck yeah.
Get the nachos going. Hawkeye's on Amazon looking at Lazy Susans.
Yeah, Home Depot's delivering one in 3 days.
Yeah, I guess I'm going to pull out of here, guys.
The Lazy Susan's making you lazy?
No, it's making me dizzy.
Yes,
heard somebody in the distance there. Yeah, see you later, Hawkeye. Maybe we'll catch you tomorrow.
Yeah, still a little bit of skipping there. Well, yeah, well, I mean, that's, especially I was like, all right, what radio would I want, like, if I was, like, apartment bound and I didn't have enough room to have a bunch of shit. I mean, to me, you know, I'm going to make a corner, I'm going to make a desk, and I'm going to have 10 radios on there, but if for some reason I could only have one radio, you know, like, oh, this little mobile radio, as much as I'd like to say a big black box radio, but, like, this little mobile radio, whatever, you know, I know which one I have picked out, but I was like, this is my best radio. I'm like, this does absolutely everything I need it to. I don't need anything else. So I'm like, oh, maybe I'll just keep this and one spare, you know, and get rid of the rest. But every radio has like it's got a story behind it, but every radio has, you know, they're all different. They're different for a reason. They're cool. Like I said, there's a reason I'm talking about this old junk now. Because it's cool. I don't need it to do anything special. Neither is anything else that's sitting up here. But just kind of nostalgic. There's something different, you know. Do I need 6 of these radios? No. You know, I want to have one Cobra 29, but I don't need 10 of them.
Will this be my monthly reminder that I'll still be interested in a 2000? So whenever you get around to and that amp we talked about, I'm probably still going to be interested in that. Just it's my monthly reminder.
Well, I've got a bunch of them I can see from here. I can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or 6 of them. I have no idea what's wrong with any of them. Some of them might be perfect. I assume at least 3 or 4 of them are probably absolutely pristine and good, just some dust on them. You know, and I assume there's a couple that are just parts radios type deal. I got a couple more inside, yeah. Yeah, we can definitely, you know, we'll hook that up. The amp is just sitting in the room. I thought about throwing it in the car this week just for the hell of it, and running it, so I'd have something bigger than that little 4-pill, but I don't know if the car will handle it.
You'll have to get on the accelerator.
I think if I went too much bigger in the car, I'd have to put, you know, because I put it in the trunk, I'd have to put another battery in the trunk. As much as I think bigger alternator, I'd love to go get a lithium battery or something along that lines or a super cap, but fucking super cap's expensive. Well, I mean, it's not crazy expensive, but I don't want to go spend $500 right now on a super cap. As much as I could put one in my car and run a 16 pill in there all day long, I don't know. I'd rather spend the rest of the 23 channel radios.
Yeah, I mean, I know I'm not running anything crazy in my truck, but I remember one day in the summer, it was hot. And I had the air conditioner full tilt boogie, and I keyed up the amp, and it wasn't like the truck was in any danger of stalling, but it definitely made a noticeable change in pitch in the RPM and a drop in voltage. I mean, I say noticeable, but typically you never notice anything. Like, it was just a little twitch of the RPM meter and a little dip in the voltage, but that was because I had the frickin' air conditioner blowing full tilt boogie that day.
I usually find for me it's when it's cold and rainy. I got the heat on, blasting, you know, and headlights are always on in these things now, but like I notice at night when I key up, I can see the lights dim. Now I'm sure it's not noticeable to anybody else, but you see it. You can tell. It's not a lot, but I'm like, going from a little 4-pill to a big 8-pill, you know, that's rough. I kind of want to, if I ever get what I want, and I find another base tube amp to drive what I want, like we were talking about earlier, so I find a single 800, whatever. I would love to take my 16 from inside and put that in my truck. I'd love to take my truck amp and put it in my car. It is a great all-around amp. It's big, but not so big you need anything crazy. for fucking 25 years, and the thing is just a great amp.
Sounds like some skip there. Or it looks like skip. I was just trying to listen to that, see if I could figure out what it was. Well, man, I should probably shut it down. I think it's just you and I left in here and fix it. That's it. Fix it's he's faded right into the woodwork.
Yes, I was like all these mics, so I need this many mics. I know the answer to that, and I want to get rid of some, but they look so good.
Oh yeah, mics can be fun too. You know, it just dawned on me. Where the frick's Swiper?
That bastard.
Well, I sent a message to the group chat, and I see he read it. I'm thinking to myself, oh, he's reading the messages, so he's awake.
Yeah, we gotta update the page. As far as get a new picture or something cool for like the cover picture, not a COVID-19. We can do something a little better than that.
What are you talking about? COVID-19 is pretty cool.
Yeah, I like it because it makes it feel approachable. Like it's not some crazy radio that nobody can afford and nobody has. You know, like what I got on the sideband page, I don't even know what the hell it was, but I'm like, it's a $20 brand new radio.
I don't know. My Midland's pretty cool. I'm trying to think of like what's kind of a, you know, you want to put, I don't know, something kind of unique, I guess. Maybe, I don't know. I know they're like, I always thought the DACs were kind of neat looking. You know, maybe it was just because of all the meters and stuff on them. They were just always kind of neat looking radios.
You know, use it as a cover photo for the week or for the month. You know, just have it be somebody's radio out here or out there or whatever. And they just take a picture and, you know, let people vote on it, whatever, but vote and say, you know, post a picture of your setup this week and whatever has the most likes we'll use as a cover photo. You know, that kind of shit's kind of cool.
Yeah, that's a pretty good idea, actually. I know I got a couple people to respond. I did something about my mobile. A couple people put up pictures, and I think a couple people did something with their base stations. But I was hoping a few more people put up something about their mobile. But that's all right. I was just kind of dubbing around. Sometimes I get questions. It's like, oh, here's what I do.
I did the same thing driving 102 inch whip.
Yes, well, like, I kind of actually wanted to take picture or video of my mobile to put on there with your one about the mobile there a couple days ago, but I'm like, it's been raining. I haven't even, I've driven it, but I'm like, I haven't really had the time to stand there and take pictures or whatever. You know, like, I don't like to, like, chase people away. Like, nothing, or, you know, whatever. And like, dude, I've been collecting for over 30 years. I'm like, this isn't like these radios just appeared here over the last 6 months. I'm like, most of these radios I've owned since the 90s. You know, I'm like, it is what it is. Well, I don't always like posting a picture of it because people are like, oh man, I feel so bad. I don't want to see my Cobra 29 and the power supply on my desk at the end of my bed. And I'm like, who gives a fuck? I'm like, I like every station I see. It's awesome.
Well, I tried to make a point when I put that up. Like, I don't care if it's a bucket of spaghetti on the seat. Like, I always find mobile installs interesting because it's a tight space, and I like seeing, like, sometimes I see things how people do it. I'm like, oh yeah, never thought of doing that before. So I always like seeing mobile installs. Some people make custom cabinets, you know, like boxes, and like Cockeye was talking about cutting out dashboards, and like even the guy who just friggin' throws it in a pile on the seat. I mean, I'm not judging. I mean, I don't. A lot of my mobile installs, like, I've seen guys where they go nuts with the cable management. I'll make it look nice, like, when you're looking at it, but if you can't see a wire, it's a bucket of spaghetti in areas you can't see it. Because I'm like, well, you can't freaking see it. I don't care. You know, some people really go all out. I mean, I like it to look clean, but I don't care what people do. I just like seeing what people do. You know, like when people mount them to the ceiling. I did that in my Yukon, but that doesn't work in all vehicles, mounting your radio to the ceiling. I tried doing it in my new truck, and it felt like it hung down too low. It felt like it obstructed my view, but in the Yukon, it did not obstruct my view at all.
One of the best ones was I had my radio hanging down, my old F-150, and I had a Delta. I had it hanging down, upside down too. And I actually had it wired up to use the high beam switch on the floor to key it up. So I was using a little boom mic. It was amazing. That one looked okay. This last truck I had looked great. I had the radio recessed in. It was a side mount mic. So I actually ran a wire from the mic through the center console, and I would have a mic screwed into a female jack on the side of the center console. So there's no mic coming out of it. The radio was refreshed. It was right sunk into the dash. Looked amazing. The amp was behind the rear seat. It was all done up, all mounted, you know, vertically. And all you seen was out from under the carpets was the big power wires and the cable coax for the antenna. Everything was hardwired. Like, I loved it. I'm halfway there in this new truck, but it doesn't look nearly as clean. And it's just kind of harder to recess it in. But I always love seeing them installs. But you know what? I love seeing the radio thrown on the seat and working too, because I did that for almost a year in the car.
Alright there, Screwdriver. I'm going to shut it down for the evening. If anyone's still listening, we'll do it again on Thursday for sideband night. But I'm going to shut it down. Thanks for everyone stopping by, though. But I actually got to go to work tomorrow.
Even that work thing. Alright, man. Have a good night, and we will catch you tomorrow.
Yeah, you too. See you later, Fix It. And anyone else that's in there still listening.